Alright, so you've gotten this far into the video. Chances are you're trying to learn a little bit more about the dumbbell chest press and how to do it properly. So I'm going to take you through every point from head to toe, and that way you can't mess this up. Alright, so first thing is, it seems basic, but getting your feet set so that you actually have good stability. And if I needed to drive through my legs, I could drive through my legs. So what you don't want is like anything where you're like kind of like toe dancing or like pressing like at a weird angle or one leg slides out. Like you want those feet nice and set so I can drive into my quads and create some tension. All right, next thing is keeping the hips nice and stable. I know from this position it makes sense, but as soon as we rock back into the press, just making sure that we're not driving our hips off of the pad. All right, then from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to pull our back a little bit tight. We're gonna hug these dumbbells to us nice and close and then rock back. Now from here, we want to get a little bit of thoracic extension. Now, depending on your style of lifting, you don't need to get like super extended, but having a little bit of extension through your upper back, not your lower back. So we're not trying to rock that pelvis forward so much as we're trying to drive our sternum up. You just want to make sure that you have enough so that we can get good retraction of our shoulder blades. So from here, we're going to pin those shoulders back. We're also going to try to shove them down towards our hips so that we get some tension from the lats. That's just to keep the scaps from moving around more than necessary. They're still going to move during the press, just more than necessary. So keeping them still so that we don't get like a ton of wiggling. And then from here, we want to set our hands to a width that is appropriate for putting tension on the chest. Because if I keep the dumbbells here over my chest, it's going to become more challenging for my tricep and shoulder. Whereas if I move the dumbbell so that it is resting right above my elbow, so my wrist is stacked above my elbow, now I'm in a good spot to actually challenge my chest. All right, now arm path, so which way our elbows are going. You don't want to be too high up here, like at a 90 degree, because it's actually going to limit how far down you can go. And it is going to put more stress on the shoulder if we do manage to get into further extension from this position by like dropping our sternum, okay? So keeping our back tight, a 45 degree is still going to be in enough that we can get humeral extension so we get a full stretch through the pec, then we can work our way back up here. Now, if we have our elbows really tucked here, again, it's just going to put more stress on the tricep and shoulder than on the pec, okay? Now, things I want you to pay attention to at the wrist is making sure that we're not actually grabbing the dumbbell at a point where it would rock the wrists back. So if we grab too high into the hand, the dumbbells are going to have leverage to roll backward, and we want them kind of crossing the center of our hand so that they're over our ulna and our radius, which are just the bones in our forearms, so that we can stay stacked over our forearm as we press, creating the most stable press. Now, last thing, doesn't feel like a huge thing, but your breath. So I want you to take a huge breath in through your nose, down into your rib cage so that you can expand your rib cage. So big. Now that provides the most leverage for your press because it's going to actually expand the rib cage, which gives you a greater stretch at the bottom. And then as you go up, when you want to exhale, you don't want to go full excursion of the lungs because then you're going to lose your base for pressing. If I go, I've now flattened my back, and it's going to make it that much harder for me to try to get back in that squeezed or stretched position, squeezed in my back, stretched in my pecs position. So I can't set up for a good press next time and I'll feel weaker. So what you want to do is big nasal in breath. I've filled those rib cage, and then on that press, just a little, that's it. And then you're keeping air in, and then you just keep repressurizing. You never empty the lungs, okay? If you do all that, you'll likely have a great set of bench press. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to update the video as we see fit, but enjoy.